Hey everyone, welcome back to the live stream. Today is going to be an amazing day. We've got some exciting things coming up as far as the channel is concerned, but more importantly, today we are back to answer questions about the medical coding and billing industry. We're going to talk about all kinds of things that are going on, credentials. We're going to talk about exams. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about programs. So grab yourself a drink, say hi to your friends in the chat, and let's get started with today's stream. Play-Doh 3 has sounded a little funky from my end, a little jar. Yeah, so I have a brand new webcam today. So I'm hoping that it will not freeze like it did last week. And this is very cutting edge. It's called the Facecam Pro. It's a 4K webcam. Hopefully I don't now crash my computer in efforts to run the high-tech webcam. Excited to see you all here today. A lot of people coming in from LinkedIn, from YouTube, from Facebook. We're streaming live on all 3 platforms. Saying hi to Jill coming in from New Jersey. We'll say hi to Carlita Johnson. Hello, Carlita Johnson. And Debbie. It looks like a lot of LinkedIn people here today, which is awesome. That's not my typical audience. I'm typically very YouTube heavy. Speaking of YouTube, exciting news for the channel. I don't know if you can see the counter on all of everyone can see right now because on the YouTube platform, but sound is not good. Uh-oh. The sound is good. Let me check one thing. Is anyone else having issues with the sound, or was it just the sound from the video? Let me know in the chat because I checked my mic settings and it should come through. Blue Yeti. Let's see here. Audio. Nano. Is it that it's too low, too high? Echoey? What's going on? Yeah. It's choppy on YouTube. The audio that's coming in right now, that's interesting. I wonder if it's the internet. Hopefully not. Yeah, it's glitchy. Uh-oh. Oh, uh-oh. Let me try one thing really quick. Let me unplug here. And I'm gonna switch over okay. Let me know if that fixed anything, because I know sometimes I've been having issues with the USBs, that it doesn't like when I'm plugging things into the USB, into the USB hub. So maybe it's a little better now. It's acting a little yellow. So let me know in the chat if the audio is working out a little bit better now. Just saying hi to some people. Debbie saying it's better now. Good. Oh, good. Okay. Whew. That's what it was. It didn't want me to plug into the external hub, but that's okay. I just switched out the mouse. So good. Awesome. Exciting news in the channel, guys. So the YouTube counter right now, 99,800 and change subscribers, which means that at some point in the next 48 hours, probably Saturday night into like Sunday morning, the channel is going to be hitting 100,000 YouTube subscribers. That is my big goal that I've been working on for a long time, to get that silver play button. I'm still not sure where I'm putting it, if it's going back here, if it's going in the one of the shelves, but it is so exciting to see such an achievement right on that threshold after so much time. So very, very exciting. Yeah. So yeah, my internet's been a little bit touchy lately. Kind of chopping in and out. still working on that end of things. Yeah, Misty saying congratulations, so excited. I know, I'm absolutely thrilled, like, I can't believe this. But yeah, I appreciate all your patience while I'm still kind of, like, working with the new setup because there's so many different factors going on right now. My internet's been a little bit touchy. I'm trying out this new webcam, so I'm, like, hoping that it's not, like, so powerful that it's going to wind up crashing everything else that's going on. Thank you, Christy, I appreciate that. So yeah, if you have any questions, of course, I'm sure gonna be lots of congratulations. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. I did see something come through a little bit earlier from Mandy, and Mandy's saying, and this is a valid question, how can I get experience with Epic 3M and other medical sites without having job experience? And the answer to this, unfortunately, is not going to be one that we're going to like. Um, is that there really isn't a way. Um, Epic and well, more so Epic than 3M. They're not like buying a subscription to Microsoft Excel where they're like, here you can, find a tutorial online or use something that's a similar product to learn how you're going to navigate through Epic. The only real way to learn is through the live records. And unless you are maybe in like a volunteer program where maybe you could volunteer at the hospital, there's really not a way to like download it as a free trial or go through tutorials. I have had some people say that there are some tutorials that Epic provides that you can find on YouTube. And there's some more for 3M. So 3M you could probably purchase independently. I'm sure it wouldn't be in any way, shape, or form cheap. But that's about the closest you're gonna get is if you could find some free tutorials online. Otherwise, there's not really a good way to get your hands in and get Epic certified. Typically, when Epic does certifications, it's in relationship to you working for a healthcare organization. You can't like independently go and get that certification in most cases like you would for, becoming Microsoft certified, right? Cynthia's asking, "Hey, Victoria, I was wondering your thoughts regarding the new E&M coding." So it's a learning curve for all of us. I I'm struggling myself right now because I knew 95, 97 like the back of my hand because I've been training with it for, 15 years and still trying to understand some of the nuances now with some of the changes for 2023. And, I wrote it on my to-do list yesterday that the AMA made these technical corrections as of, I believe, March 1st for some things that they wanted to tweak with the guidelines, kind of like they did back in 2021, where I think it was April 1st. They're like, hey, we made these technical corrections. And didn't I get a message from my friend Tony Elholmes this morning? She's like, "Hey Victoria, have you looked at these technical corrections yet for for E&M?" And I'm like, "No, it was on my to-do list and I didn't get to it yet." And, she's like, "Yeah, you might wanna take a look." I'm like, "Oh, no, is this gonna be one of those situations again where I have to get out my clown makeup and my bozo nose because the AMA is gonna make us all look like we don't know what the hell we're we're talking about?" And yeah, it definitely looks like, there's been some turnarounds in 1 or 2 areas where they previously said we couldn't do something, and now they're saying, "Yes, that's totally fine, you can do that." Um, so a lot of, uh yeah, yeah. It's tough when things change for something that you've been used to for a long period of time. Um, so I guess I'll have to make some addendas myself as well in probably some of the teaching materials that I've put out. So, glad I didn't put out any large scale E&M trainings that now I have to backtrack on. Hopefully that's the last of the surprises though, so we'll see. I saw in the last slide that one of your goals was to learn ICD-10 PCS. I plan to take a class and sit for the CCS. That's what I see most companies asking for inpatient. Yeah, primarily what you'll see when you're looking for jobs for inpatient facility-based coding is they want to see the CCS. There's some that are becoming more understanding that the CCI is like the AAPC's equivalent. I think one of the barriers we see a lot now is these job descriptions probably don't get updated terribly often for these positions that are getting posted. Usually they're done by someone in HR or recruitment So they're just pulling them off the shelf. Sometimes they'll still say ICD-9 on them. Sometimes they'll still say, just inaccurate information. So there may be positions where the coding manager or someone may genuinely take a CIC, but they've never updated that job description to include that. We're starting to see it more, but in most cases, it's historically always been if you want to do Profi coding, risk adjustment coding, you want to go through AAPC. If you want to do inpatient facility coding, you go through a HEMA. So that's just very generally the CCS is usually preferred for inpatient coding positions. Lena Parker says, I'm in school now with AAPC for coding. I'm due to take the CPC in November. Should I get new books for the exam? So you want to make sure that your books that you're sitting for the exam yet are current for that calendar year. November is kind of a funny time because October 1st, our ICD-10 CM codes change, right? And you might be tempted to bring in your 2024 book then when you get it. But if you look at the regulations for the exam, it has to be that calendar year's book. And the exam itself doesn't change until January 1st. So January 1st, even though we've had those ICD-10 CM codes, any newer changed or revised codes in effect for a couple of months, they don't even go into the exam for the AAPC until January 1. HEMA's different. They have something, and I apologize because I'm not always most familiar with a HEMA because I don't have membership through them. But I know a HEMA will allow you to have um, take the prior year's exam for, I think, a grace period of time. But as far as the AAPC exam, you want the books for that calendar year. Now, you can use the ones from the previous calendar year, but that's up to you to kind of weigh your risks, especially right now if you're using in 2023 a 2022 book, the E&M codes, a lot of those have changed, right? Um, but some people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I spent so much time notating and highlighting my book and putting so much information in there. I would rather risk that I might select an outdated code than take the 30, 40 hours to transfer all of my notes." So it really comes down to how much risk you're willing to personally take. Are you so close that you think I might only get a 70% and missing that one question could be like the make or break thing? Then you might want to get the updated books. But again, not everyone can afford them. They're expensive. It's like what, $300 for a new set of code books every year. I personally and this may be controversial, but I'm personally looking forward to the day where I can just buy everything on an ebook, and then any notes that I have, I can just pay, like, an update fee, and it will just transfer everything over to whatever the new ebook version is. I still love the paper books, though. I don't know. I feel like I would need both because sometimes I just you just like to kinda touch them. Tiffany says, "I'm interested in medical billing and coding certification. Should I go through AAPC training, the course, or do you recommend any other colleges for this certification? I have a background in medical front office, insurance verification, patient accounts, and customer service. I have basic on looking on claims to insurance. Yeah. So you want to get into it, work from home. What are your suggestions? So since you already have like that good base knowledge, you're going to be able to skip a lot of things. Like you could probably skip some med term. You already maybe can even skip the first couple of chapters where they're going on, what's the difference between Medicare versus Medicaid versus a commercial insurance, et cetera, because you have that knowledge already. Um, I do have a partnership with Preppy. So total disclosure, I do get there we go. I do get a percentage of uh, finder fee, I guess you could call it, for students that enroll. But the reason that I partnered with them is because I have so many people that want to get into medical billing and coding. Like it's more of a load of students than I would be able to take on without having to scale, which I don't want to do because I'm not good at managing people. So we partnered together so that they could say, "Hey, we're going to go out, we're going to find the best program out there, we're going to put it together, we're going to be able to offer your viewers things that like I couldn't in my busiest day offer them." It's fully online, it's at your own pace. Um, They have externship sites available so that you can go and get like experience because that's, the number one complaint you hear about there out there is I want to get a job, but they want experience and I don't have any experience. So you can get that experience through your externship. It still counts towards your apprenticeship removal. So that is an option. If you want to go directly through the AAPC, though, that is an excellent option as well. And keep an eye out for some of those bundle deals that they do, because oftentimes you can get like, oh, if you want to get the CPC and the CPB and the exams for both, and all the books, they'll kind of like bundle it into a more affordable package. That's something you can look into as well. Yeah, Kim is saying Preppy is awesome. I'm taking a course with them right now. Yeah, like they're just so great. Like I would love to sit down and teach the 50 or 60 students that probably are asking to be taught medical coding every month. But yeah, I would not have the customer support that they have. I would not have a lot of things that they're able to provide that I can't. Yeah, Tasha's saying she's starting her externship next week. I'm telling you, and it's like a legit externship, not like how sometimes you sign up with these programs and they're like, oh, you can do your internship or externship, and it's like a mock module, and you just like click through, and it's like a patient walks through the provider's office. Should you have them sign an ABN? Click it. Like it's an actual externship. Can DRG be determined without an encoder? So now I am not the DRG expert. I am not the inpatient coding expert, but just historically from what I have seen, we used to be able to. Like I think there used to be things in the books that you could calculate a DRG, but I've not seen those since we made the transition to ICD-10. And from what I've heard, and again, this is not my hands-on experience, just from what I've heard through the grapevine, you kind of can't anymore because of just the way that it is. You need like a DRG calculator. Yeah, it's a lot of students. It's a lot of people, and I don't have the capacity to field through like, "Oh, well, have you taken midterm?" Like, it's a lot of students that wanna learn medical coding, that I have to turf off to them every month. Can you study and take the CPMA after passing the CPC? So here's what I'm gonna say about that. I've known coders that have done that. Totally fine. I have no problems with that. Um I've known people that even still have their CPCA, they're still considered an apprentice and go right and take their CPMA because some people are really good studiers, they're really good test takers. What I always say though is oftentimes with these auditing roles, they want you to have some hands-on coding experience, working with records. They want you to have that experience of being able to detect errors. So they want you to have usually I see 3 years experience, sometimes 5 years experience. It depends on other factors, like maybe if you're internal, but you have less years experience, they'll go, well, since you're already here and we know you know everything really well, like even though we kind of want someone with 5 years experience to become an auditor, like we'll accept you. But so I've been in situations before where um, my department was bought out by, well, not bought up, but became part of a larger organization, right? And we were assigned coding educator roles, which did not require a CPMA, and now we were transitioning to a role that would require a CPMA. I already had that in my back pocket. I was good to go. I didn't have to worry about it. I had a coworker though that didn't, and she's like, "Ooh, I don't want to get to a point where they're saying yes, you have to have this certification." So she had to like scramble and study to get her CPMA so that she didn't have to worry then about, eventually maybe they would say you have to have it and we're going to, you don't, so we're going to let you go. So having it is going to look more favorable if you're looking to transition into an auditing role. It looks a lot better if you're sitting down with your boss and they're like, "Hey, why do you want this auditing position?" They're like, "Well, to say, I've been wanting to get into auditing for a long time. I already have that credential. I've already demonstrated some proficiency." That sounds a lot better than, well, I like auditing and I've been thinking about getting my CPMA, right? Because you don't get credit for thinking about it. You get credit for doing it. So while it may not necessarily immediately translate to, "Ooh, you have your auditing credential, now you get an auditing job," you're going to be one step ahead when those auditing positions start opening up, or once you have that years of experience that you can be considered more favorable for an auditing position. Congratulations on passing your exam, your CPC exam. You're now a CPCA. That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm giving you virtual high fives. How to code remote coding projects, you have to just keep an eye out for them. I would say probably keep an eye out Facebook and LinkedIn. I see a lot of them. Um, yeah, those are probably the big ones that I see right now when they're hiring for like, contract work, contract project work. Let's see. I'm seeing some comments here about the CRC course. Are you guys referring to my CRC course? I'm like looking up in the chat. Oh, this is a good question. So Raspberry's asking, hey, Victoria, I was told the AAPC now only offers one attempt when you purchase the exam. Is that true? To some degree, yes, not necessarily. So if we go to the AAPC website over here, document camera, okay, here we go. Whew. If we go to the AAPC website and we go to, I think it's under certifications, schedule your certification exam. So I'm just going to kind of walk through this like I was going to be scheduling my CPC exam. So let's say we want to purchase an exam voucher, right? So we're ready to sit for the exam. Let me move over. We're ready to sit for the exam and I want to purchase it. I want to do the online proctored option, right? So what's going to say is like, do you want to take it online or in person? So paper-based or online proctored, where they're watching you through the camera the whole time. So if we go to online and we go to CPC, the next menu that it's going to take us to is how many exam vouchers do you want? Do you want to purchase one exam voucher or do you want to purchase two exam vouchers? So what it's basically saying is, you can, there we go. You can take it twice if you want, but you have to pay more. You have to pay $499. So if you don't pass it that time around, you have another attempt that's already paid for versus having to pay all over again for another $399. So yeah, I wish I could tell you like this is the threshold of if you do this, this, and this, you should get one attempt. But if it's this, this, and this, you should pick two attempts. Um, but that's really kind of for you to evaluate. And again, they have different packages at different times. So there might be instances where maybe I've seen in the past where they've done like, okay, if you pay, you know, three or $4,000, we'll give you everything. We'll give you the course, we'll give you the code books, we'll give you the prep books, we'll give you the Practicode, we'll give you encoder, codify, and we'll give you unlimited exam attempts. But they'll charge you that more premium price for the whole bundle of like, the whole shebang, the whole kitchen sink of medical coding. So that's an option, but in most cases, you have that option of either selecting $399 for one exam attempt or $499 if you want to risk it, and do two exam attempts in case you don't pass that first one. But yeah, from what I understand, though, they don't like if you only buy the one attempt, then you don't pass. You have to buy the one attempt again. You can't be like, oh well, you know what? Can I go back and change that to a two attempt? Oh, Charlotte, okay. So I'm actually working on a new updated beginner's guide to ICD-10-CM to put on the channel. And I talk a little bit about ICD-11. So that'll be coming forward. I'm planning out the next several videos to hopefully batch record next week. So you may have covered this, but I've seen references to ICD-11. Is it going to switch over for CPC testing? Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. ICD-11, I think, it's been available for a couple of years now. There's a handful of countries that are kind of still have switched over and are trying to use it. As far as the United States, because we are just, I'm sorry, so behind with so many things in healthcare. It's very unlikely that ICD-11 will transition in the United States for several years. So it's definitely something I wouldn't worry about from a certification standpoint because that exam's not switching over next year, the year after, the year after. It probably will be several years until we adopt ICD-11 in the United States. Michael Jones, which certification is more valuable, the coding or billing certification? 100% the coding certification. Not that I'm saying that coding is better than billing or um, that one is a better choice than the other. It's just that while the billing certifications are great, a lot of employers right now aren't necessarily making that a sticking point for employment. They aren't putting out billing positions and saying, we want you to have the CPB credential. It'll definitely look really good if you do. But at this point, I don't think it's, and you know what? Let's actually take a look at the, let's go over to Indeed.com. One of the things I always say when you're kind of debating different credentials is a good way to take a look at if this is something employers are searching for, if this is going to be make you more marketable, is to go into Indeed.com and type that credential into the search bar. So I know like if I type in CPC, a whole bunch of stuff is going to come up for positions that are looking for someone that has the CPC. Some of those other certifications that are out there, maybe not so much. But I haven't actually looked for like a CPB in a while. I'm not sure about what the latest is for that. Let's take a look. What are we getting? Expert bookkeeper, front office, medical billing services, manager clinical trials. So yeah, we can see that there are in fact employers that have that in there, that they are billing revenue cycle positions that have somewhere in there something probably that they're looking for a CPB, or it might not be necessarily be you have to, but maybe we would prefer if you have a CPB. It would be beneficial if you have a CPB. So we can see that there is some sort of demand for there. Um, Now I'm curious about some of the other certifications. CIC, that's not even close. Oh yeah, so we are starting to see some for the CIC as well. Fully remote ER coder. Uh, bill review specialist, medical coder. Yeah. Um, Another good one for revenue cycle that's been kind of growing in popularity is the CRCR, which is the Certified Revenue Cycle something or another. It's been a hot minute. So yeah, and you can see even that it's bringing up billing jobs. So the CRCR is another one to look at. 126 people tuning in right now to the live stream. Hello, everyone. If you haven't already, don't forget to like the stream, share it with your friends. Most importantly, you have to hit subscribe because I am, again, within like 48 hours or so, I'm going to be hitting 100,000 subscribers. We are currently at, I wish I had a counter on here. Currently at, what are we at, guys? 99,800 and something. It's funny, you would think that I would gain a lot of subscribers live streaming, but with YouTube, sometimes people don't like the notification. So they're going live, they're like, ugh, I don't want these anymore. And then they unsubscribe to your channel. 99,820 I am showing. So 180 more subscribers until we hit 100K. Bringing awareness to the medical billing and coding industry. Yeah. If you guys have any ideas, that's something you guys could help me out with if you wouldn't be so kind. A lot of people have been asking me, Victoria, what are you going to do when you hit 100,000 subscribers? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not really sure. Everyone's like, oh, you're probably going to go to Disney. And I'm like, well, I have 2 trips to Florida planned in April, which I didn't want to be that way, but I had planned to do one of the Disney races that month. And then my daughter wants to go down. Her birthday's in a couple of weeks, and she's like, can we go down for spring break as part of it? I'm like, okay. But in any case, so I don't know what I want to do for celebrating hitting 100,000 subscribers. Apparently, a lot of YouTubers like they get a cake or they get like an expensive bottle of wine, like a Dom Perignon. I'm not big into, I'm not a drinker. Not that I don't want to drink. I don't like the way makes me feel anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I could go and get like a tiny little tattoo of like the play button, or I could get like, I don't know, maybe like little code books or something of a tattoo. Um, I could still get a cake, like a decorative cake. I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah, Natasha is even saying, yeah, the CRCR with HFMA is another good credential. I'm telling you, it's grown in popularity. Sometimes it's really hard for some of these other organizations to compete with AAPC and AHEMA these days, but that one's really doing well. Yeah. See, I that's what I think. I think maybe I should get a YouTube tattoo, little play button or something like on my wrist. I, uh, I have 2 other tattoos that I wanna get right now. I wanna get something that's an ode to, like, Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog and the Muppets, and I wanna get a tattoo of Spaceship Earth, which is the big golf ball at Epcot, 'cause I think I just love that thing. It's just amazing. Um, yeah. But see, watch, I'd get a tattoo and it would say CPT on it, and, like, the AMA would sue me or something. Or as soon as I would get a tattoo of, like, an ICD-10 code, then we would switch over to ICD-11. That's what would happen to me. Lena Parker's asking what's Code all about. So Code is a service that employs coders in more of a gig work style platform. They do have some, healthcare organizations that have, like, a dedicated set of coders that work through the platform, but I know the last big push they had was only for interventional radiology coders, and right now, I haven't seen um, a lot of other availability. I think they're working right now on getting some additional, um, healthcare providers on the platform, but that's what Code does. So it's kind of like if you were to sign up for, like, an Uber or DoorDash or something, like, when there's cases available, they'll push them to you, and then or you could log in and see them, and, then they're available for work. Do you need, a year experience to join Code? It depends. You would have to contact Code directly. I can't answer, those kind of questions for them because I just don't wanna get into trouble if I give, like, from an HR standpoint, the wrong information. Not that I'm trying to avoid it, I just wanna make sure that, things change a lot in businesses, and I don't wanna give inaccurate information. Hey! Yeah, so a couple of T-shirts in the mail, that's you're sa yeah. So if you're not familiar, I do have a T-shirt store. If you're on the YouTube channel, it's linked, I think usually at the bottom of the video. I don't know if it shows up in the cell phone version though. But, you can also go to contempocoding.com and it has a link to the T-shirt store there. I unfortunately will not be at HealthCon Nashville this year. Um, I was toying with it and, yeah, it seems like a lot of expense for me right now, especially when I have, like, other trips I wanna take. Like, I don't wanna spend money on going to conferences. As much as I love you guys, like, I don't know, I feel a little bit like at this stage, like, the AAPC should invite me as an honored guest to all of their conferences. Like, you know how you go to Comic Cons and, like, Lou Ferrigno is always there, like, signing autographs and stuff because he was the Incredible like, I feel like that should be it. Like, we should set up a booth and it should just be meet Victoria from Contempo Coding, and I just get to sit there and enjoy the conference. I'm not getting an inflated head over this or anything like that. No, of course not. Um, yeah. Yeah, so Lori, I haven't talked to them lately because I think they've just got so much going on that, promoting through me is not the priority right now. So, yeah, you can contact what's their email? Info@codehealth with a K.com, and they should be able to answer any questions in regards to that. Shannon, hey Shannon, I just accepted a risk adjustment position. Any suggestions to prep before starting? I've mainly done billing and some coding. I'm gonna tell you what, this is what you need to do. You need to get familiar with your ICD-10 CM guidelines. That's what I would do anyway. I would sit down, maybe not with the whole ICD-10 book, maybe with just the guidelines. Maybe I would print just the guidelines out or put them on a PDF on my phone or something and read them. But whoop, man, now the other camera doesn't want to work. I'm telling you. This is what happens when you try to run everything through a laptop. Hold on. Let me try. Hmm. What cord does this go to? I have two white cords. One is for the Stream Deck, and that's there. This is for my webcam. Should have got a laptop that can hold more peripherals. No, we're not gonna do that? Okay. In any case, I would go through the ICD-10-CM guidelines and just read through your guidelines and make sure you're familiar with your ICD-10-CM guidelines, because that's really gonna help you in risk adjustment since it's so ICD-10-CM based. See, Kayla agrees with me. I should get a KK. KK agrees with me. I should get celebrity status for for going to conferences. I should just be invited as an honored guest. Um, I might I might go to DC. I might go to DC. We'll see this year. We'll see. I know, Natasha. I know. Was it you that I saw that was meeting up with some of the Florida crew? Congratulations, Victoria. You were an awesome coach. Thank you. I appreciate that. Fish says, "Hi, Victoria. Came across your channel by accident. I have been enjoying your content. It's very informative and helpful. Thank you for making these videos." I don't know that you come across maybe anything video-wise these days by accident. I think it's probably because someone on the back of your TV while you were watching it, like, said the word medical coding, and then, like, your phone was listening and heard it, and then it's pushed my video to you because 'cause they're always listening these days. I think you should get a piece of custom jewelry. Ooh, that's a good idea too. Contempo connoisseur. I love that idea. I love that. But yeah, I was considering for a while, um, 3D printing a whole bunch of stuff and then taking it to HealthCon as a vendor and selling it. But even that, I'm just like, I have to go travel twice in April, and then I don't know that I'm gonna have the stamina then to go ahead in May too. Is Practicode worth it? I've heard there's a lot of issues with submitting answers and lack of customer service support. Um, it's a tough thing. It's one of those things that you almost have to like bite the bullet, right? Um, code book earrings. Sorry, I'm getting distracted now. So Practicode, you know, one of the problems that we're facing right now in the industry is right now, we've been facing it for forever. One of the problems we face in the industry is that a lot of employers are reluctant to hire apprentice coders because they know that if you have the apprentice status, that likely means you don't have a couple of years experience. So they'll post jobs out there that say, no CPCAs. So getting your apprenticeship status removed is important because you want to be able to get to those positions where they say no CPCAs, right? Like you want to be eligible for those. Um, so in order to remove your apprenticeship status, you have a couple of options, right? You could just get 2 years experience, right? Or in lieu of 2 years, you could have, if you have 80 contact hours of education that you can submit and prove to the AAPC, that will take off 1 year. The other thing that will take off 1 year is the Practicode. So it's expensive, yes. It's redacted, and from what I understand, somewhat scrubbed up a little bit to some degree. Medical records, and you're transitioning now from going to an environment where you are picking A, B, C, or D to an area where now you're just giving slots. It's like here's some areas where you could put in the HCPCS codes, the CPT codes, the ICD-10 codes, modifiers, diagnosis pointers, etc. And it's not going to tell you how many codes or where. And that's a tough thing because if you're looking at a case and maybe you think it needs a 50 modifier or and Practicode thinks it doesn't, it's gonna throw the whole thing off, and it's not gonna tell you that that's what it is. It's gonna be so it's a lot. It's a pain. It is, one of those necessary evils right now. I know the past conference or 2, Bevan Erickson, who's the president of the AAPC, has indicated that they are looking at options to remove the apprenticeship status through different, I guess, modules that might kind of test your aptitude. So if that means they might get rid of Practicode at some point, I don't know. It might actually mean that they do more Practicode type modules and then you don't have the apprentice designation. So yeah, it's definitely tough, and I think when you even purchase it, they kind of tell you like, "Hey, we're not gonna give you support on this. Like, if you have questions about the coding or the content of it, like, you're kind of on your own. I think not in that as those exact, but it's kind of very intricately worded when you purchase it, that there's no, like, teacher support or live support that's gonna help you out with these cases. Lunar said, "I had to take a year off of my medical coding class because I had a baby and developed a tumor." Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. And it's been really hard getting back into it, but your videos have been helping me a lot. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Life gets in the way with a lot of different ways, with babies, with elderly parents, with pandemics, right? And I'm really glad to hear that I've been helping you kind of fill in some of those gaps, right? And that happens. I have a whole video that talks about, what do you do if you've not been in medical coding for a while and you need to get back into it? And we discuss things like, go back and look at some of your study materials. Do you need to get another review course? Do you need to update your books? Did you study in ICD-10 and now you have to study study in ICD-9 and now you have to study ICD-10 all over again? Yeah, Betty's saying that the Practicode is outdated, their rationale, if they give it a pathway to look it up and it's not corrected. Yeah. Yeah, it's you try to be sympathetic sometimes, right? Because you can only imagine like how many little pieces of moving content the AAPC has to track, right? They've got all of those practice exam questions, the exam bank questions, all of the different study guides for all the different certifications. It stands to reason that there's going to be little things here and there that they don't of out of a million pieces of questions and paragraphs and descriptions that things are going to get missed. But yeah. Sometimes, you can muster up the understanding, and other days it's just you get so frustrated, it's just like, "Oh, what the heck?" I mean, when we are looking at it independently for the first time, it's easy to notice those little things that are wrong, but when you keep in mind that they've got so many different people, so many different moving parts looking at a million different pieces of codes and questions and rationale, it's a lot to keep up with, it really is. Michelle is asking a good question. Hey, Victoria, are there other ways to get internship experience besides Practicodes? Oh my gosh. So there is. If you can find an internship or externship site near you, um, oftentimes organizations will include that. So if you go through maybe a community college, they might have an offering for you. If you go through a tech school, they might offer something for you. If you go through, I'm partnered up with Preppy. So if you are interested in going through their program, they do offer an externship. And again, full disclosure, I am an affiliate of Preppy. So when you sign up, I do get a commission rate off of the enrollment. And that just helps support me, helps support the channel, helps me buy my fancy 4K webcam and my other webcam that isn't working right now. Uh, but there is one other option, and it doesn't work for everyone. But it's nice. So AAPC has what they call, and I have trouble navigating the website sometimes, so I just Google it. I just cheat. Called Project Extern. So if you go to AAPC Project Extern, sometimes you can find locations near you that do have externships available. Um, but the locations are kind of spotty. So you might have one or two in New York, but then like nothing in Oklahoma, and then 15 in California, or they're all over on the east side of your state and you're in the west side. But that is a way that you can um, possibly find some experiences if you apply for AAPC's Project Extern. Crystal Williams, taking my CCS-P tomorrow. Any advice? So that one I've not taken myself because I don't have dual membership through AAPC and HEMA. I just have AAPC. But general exam advice. Make sure you know your guidelines, make sure you get a good night's sleep, make sure that you have everything that you need for the exam. Like if they make you take your ID, if you need to take a bottle of water with you, make sure you read through any instructions that they've given you as far as like arrive here by this time, bring this with you. And if it's so early, I can't say like, hey, I wouldn't want you to crash study the night before. But yeah, just make sure you get a good night's sleep, that you're ready. Take deep breaths. Peppermint, they say, is helpful. Um, so that's what I would do. And pack if they let you pack like a little supply bag. I don't know if they do tissues. I don't remember what exam I was taking at one point where I sneezed and had an incident and had to like run to the bathroom and to tackle it. But yeah. Misty is asking, is the way, yeah, is that an engagement ring that you're wearing, Victoria? Yes. Yes, this is my engagement. So I got engaged in October. It was my fiance and I have been together for 8 years. His name is Chicago. And yeah, so we went out on a cruise, Disney cruise, of course, on the Disney Wish, which is their newest cruise line, beautiful cruise line. And yeah, semi-planned. So the story is, I hope he doesn't mind me telling this, so he'll probably get embarrassed and I'll have to apologize later. But yeah, so the story is, I kind of knew it was coming because we had discussed the ring. We were on the Disney Wish. It was pirate party night. So Jack Sparrow like falls from the deck and fireworks are going off and it's just beautiful and amazing. And he looks at me and he goes, now? Do I do it? Do I do it now? So, so that's the engagement story. Chuck wanted to make sure that he was doing it at the appropriate time. So he asked to make sure. Um, So yeah, hopefully my plan is to eventually make it back onto the Disney Wish and get married either on the ship or at Castaway Key. That's what I'm planning. Um, any medical coding tutor sites? So I know of, oh gosh, so I know there's a couple of medical coding tutors out there. Shannon Benet, I believe, is the lady that I usually refer people to. You can also check out tutors.com. They have some available. Wyzant.com, wyzant.com. If you're a tutor, feel free to leave it in the chat. That's fine with me because I don't have the capacity well, tutoring isn't a service that I'm offering right now. So if anyone is tutoring, definitely hook that up. I don't have any problems with that. And what's the other one? I'm trying to think if my friend Beth does that. Oh, I'm not sure if that's one of the offers. Ooh, I just blinked. Can't remember if she does or not. But yeah, if you offer tutoring services, drop it in the chat. Yeah. And now the chat's gotten quiet now that I'm talking about my pirate party and my engagement. Yeah. Oh, we still got some time left. Elise is asking, what are your thoughts on the CCC certification? I work in cardiology, but not sure if that's the best certification to go after next. Since I'm doing scheduled procedures in Epic, I have my own CPC. How would I use the CCC in the future? So, one of the things I would say is if you're already working in it, it will kind of demonstrate your proficiency. Like it's a feather in your cap. Like, yes, I actually know what I'm doing. I have the CCC certification. They've tested it. It's proficiency and so forth, and I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go back to Indeed.com though. Now I'm curious. I think you might find pockets of cardiology specific positions that might require it, but I think since the CPC is just such a good baseline, I don't know that you would necessarily be denied a position for not having the CCC. Yeah, that abbreviation's not gonna bring up much in Indeed.com now, is it? Um, yeah, I think it's certainly not bad to have. it's certainly, a good goal. But chances are likely that you're not gonna ever be denied a position. It's just there's gonna be a handful of positions that might say, "We would prefer you to have that." You mentioned a package that might be available with books or study guides, etcetera, to get started. Where should I watch for those? Just on AAPC? Yeah, usually whatever deals they're kind of having at the time, they'll have on the AAPC website. Like, first off, they usually go by month, so they'll have, like, a big some sort of deal for March, and then in April, they'll have a different one. So right now it looks like extended 7 days left, start today, 50% off. So yeah, usually it's right on the front page, whatever big deal they're having right now. So let's see what they have got going on. Uh, CPC, learn more. Enroll now. Learning methods. So it gives a difference. Of course, live instructor is going to cost more than the others. But yeah, this is where they have kind of the I need the prerequisites. Oh my gosh, $1,000 if you need the prerequisites. But yeah, yeah, usually they're right on top of the website, or sometimes they'll, if you're subscribed to like their mailing list, like if you're have an AAPC.com account, they'll send you whatever their, yeah, we don't want to see that. They'll send you whatever their latest deal of the day is, or deal of the month. Realizing the library is a good resource to see money. Order online and check out medical coding resources. Yeah. I've have heard some people say that they've been able to rent the code books and rent some materials from their library. I've also even heard um, some people indicate that they might have courses that sometimes the uh, community colleges near them or the libraries near them might have like an e-study course. Oftentimes, they're, obviously not the most elaborate, they're not the most cutting edge. They are possibly outdated, but it's something if you are at a very limited budget. If we take your CRC course, do you advise us to order practice tests from the AEPC? Also, I just purchased your course and I see it came with a practice exam. I mean, if you feel that you still need some additional practice material, it will be different material. So the practice exams you'll get through the AAPC will be different than the practice exams that I provide through the course. So if you're feeling like, you know what, I need some extra practice, if you're maybe still not scoring like 80% or higher on the practice exams that I provide, you might need some additional support there. The other thing with the CRC exam that I will say, if you do not have this book, and I should really add it to my Amazon bookstore. A great, great resource is, of course, I just want to make sure that I don't have any of my stuff here on my Amazon account. There we go. Is Risk Adjustment Documentation and Coding by Sherry Poe Bernard. That is an amazing resource. Like, you're not going to find a better book on learning risk adjustment coding and the documentation requirements things than the one that Sherry Poe Bernard has written the book on risk adjustment coding, and it's phenomenal. So that's another resource you could look into as well. Okay. Charlotte is saying, I'm taking a free course on Carnegie Mellon University for anatomy and physiology. Any other courses I should consider before starting the AAPC or Preppy courses? Couple of things. I'm actually updating my midterm video. That's one of the next ones I'm doing. Um, I have it with me finally. Oh, no, that's the step-by-step books. Hold on. Curiously piling books on a filing cabinet next to me. This book here is medical coding and medical terminology and anatomy for coding. There is a 4th edition of this book. It is a red one. I think I have it linked in the YouTube video description, or it's available on my Amazon store. You can just search it up on Amazon. It is, I mean, it is an excellent, amazing resource for learning. Hello. Come on, focus back in. For learning medical terminology and anatomy. The other one is there's a video series on YouTube by Hank called Crash Course, and that's a free resource available there as well. Come on, camera, focus in. Hold on. There we go. Getting used to that. Okay. Um, saw something else up here that I wanted to discuss. Do you think do you think we'll ever adopt solely using PCS for both inpatient and outpatient? So first off, I know like this much PCS coding, but I would 110% be willing to do that. The problem is, the whole CPT code set is licensed by the AMA, and from what I understand, the majority of the money, the income that they make, is from having to license the CPT code set to other people. So, for example, if you're on an EMR, Epic, for example, and someone needs to have access to that whole code set within Epic, they have to pay a licensing fee for that user to have access to the CPT because it is copyrighted by the AMA. So since they have so much money invested in it and they have a lot of political um leeway, we'll say, for various reasons. It's very unlikely that there would be any transition from using CPT to ICD-10 PCS for professional fee and outpatient coding. Yeah. I'm actually, from what I do remember hearing even some whispers recently that they're trying to use CPT in other countries for data tracking purposes as well. So it sounds more like they're spreading versus attracting, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that definitely would reduce some of the costs in healthcare, not completely, but if we're looking at all of these different users and we're having to pay royalty fees to the AMA for every single healthcare user that has access to CPT codes on the EMR, that would certainly reduce some cost there. Nancy says, I passed my CPC exam, but looking for my first job has been discouraging. It's tough. It's tough. And I think, there's a lot of tactics out there. There's a lot of strategy, but it can be, especially if you're looking for something um, maybe specific to your region, or if you're specifically looking for something remote. Some of the things I suggest is make sure that your resume is up to date. One of the top things I see is coders will have too much fluff in their resume, or they'll have their name at the top of their resume, but they don't have their credentials next to it. That's important. Look out for spelling errors. Make sure you don't spell HIPAA incorrectly. That's a big one. Because people, if they see like an error on your resume, I've seen it in the past where they're like, if this person didn't catch the errors on their resume, how are they going to catch errors when they're doing their billing and coding? So that's really very important. Um, Checking on Indeed.com. You can check for jobs on LinkedIn as well. Network with your local chapters. They are the invaluable resource because these are the people that are, a lot of them, currently employed in medical coding. So they know, for example, if if their healthcare organization is about to open up 2 new positions, or if someone is about to leave and take a position elsewhere, or if someone's gonna retire, like, they know, they have that inside information about positions that are gonna open, and if you can get your way in there and say, "Hey, I'm a new certified coder, I'm looking for a new job," we like to help other coders out, we like to network, so that's an invaluable resource. Anyway, that is it for today. Depending on if it snows or not next Friday, I will try to be back every single Friday, but I didn't last week because it was gonna snow and I didn't wanna make it out to my office. But I am wishing you all the best, all of those that you just passed your exams, you're looking for that first job, you're looking to get into medical coding. And I'm looking towards getting that 100,000 subscriber threshold. I think we're still at ooh, did I just get something pop up? I missed it. We're just a few away. Less than 200 subscribers I need now. It's really exciting. Oh, thank you for becoming a new member to the channel. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you're subscribed, like and share with your friends. I will see you guys next week. And until then, just keep on coding on.